look, this is where I think he gets away with it, and kind of, and I think a lot of this is coming back on him. Much like when the Frank's motion went against him, I said this, by the way, I thought it was the most ridiculous concept he had, which is the Frank's motion. The government's case is so weak, they asked to do a reply brief. That's what he kept saying, and I'm like, whoa! Why would you not do a reply brief? That's the dumbest thing. It's the dumbest concept he ever could come up with. I mean, just
and he's like, well, if you were good to go on it, you'd tackle it right there. I'm like, they gave it to the prosecutor the day before the hearing. Right. You do the work, you put it together properly, you take your time and investigate it. Just like if you get a bullshit civil complaint from your client, again, from somebody else, you don't just sit there and go LOL and leave it alone. You draft a proper document. You put an argument together. If you don't have to wing it, you never wing it. If you have to wing it, fine. You put your boots on and you strap up. But yes, the idea, they should have just addressed, it's like, that's not her only job. She's handling other cases. She probably hadn't time to fully read it. Like, what is she supposed to defend against? And, at that point, yes, that's how Nick probably would have won, is if she tried to defend it. It would have looked really bad. But, like, the detective's not there. Like, where do you go? Like, we need him. We're going to have to talk about stuff. You take your time. You do it right. And, they took their time, and they took a deep breath. They read it, and they, I don't know. I had to read that motion a couple of times to figure out what the hell they were getting at. And I don't know if you...
Nick's?
The Frank's motion, because it was so... And people think I'm joking. No, when you have a thing and there's not alignment, that's not really a big deal for me. Like, I could survive. I twitch a little bit when it happens. But if it's not really properly there's not headings, it's not broken down in a way that, like, if you have to have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, fine. Don't just go point A and just blah and just barf out, 3 or 4 issues. Like, break it down. It doesn't look bad. It's actually helpful that way. I can kind of figure out, okay, yes, these are arguments you're making. These are arguments you're not making. When it's just a gobbledygook, I think you're an idiot.
When you submit it to the judge, if the judge has an issue with some of these things too, you don't know. So you want to make sure your style, all of this is on point and per the court's local rules or what have you, so that when the judge sees, that's not a turnoff, right? Everything you want to do. I mean, anyway, go ahead.
No, I've said it before, and I think you would agree. Even in a family court setting where you're just in front of a judge or a magistrate, not in front of a jury, it's all about sales. How does your client look? What are you selling? Do you guys look competent? Is your writing competent? If you got sales literature and it's all hammered dog turds, well, you're not going to care about that. You're going to screw that product. It's probably garbage.
I don't know if you caught this, but he was, about the Frank's motion himself. He's like, you guys are idiots if you think I am writing this. Okay. I'm not writing it. Yet later in that same video, and you had it in your clip there, he's like, there's a non-practicing attorney who did this motion. So he's bragging about him. He had formally done one in this county. So do you suspect that he gave all the writing and the motion that he had done to that attorney, and they just kind of used what he had done? Because the first one seemed to be a pile of shit.
Yes, they were 2 different people. And yes, I think Nick gave White all this. Here you go, bro. Here's what I did. Now, do I think Nick said, like, this is all ready to go, sign it? I don't think so, because if he did that, that is like the most dangerous and scariest thing you can ever do as an attorney. But I think that Nick, that was all Nick the first time through. And when Nick was doing that live, he was talking about that case. I was actually on live stream sniping, and I'm like, I was sitting there and I'm like, I'm sitting there, and the problem is, I very much truly believe I'm not the smartest guy in the room. So when he's sitting there running his mouth, I'm like, what did I miss? Is there something I missed here? And I'm going back through things. I'm reading the motions, and I'm like, chat, if I miss something, and if they're looking at it from a different angle, tell me where I'm wrong. And then eventually I said, well, Nick said he had a case. I'm like, can we find it? And we found it. And Nick made all these arguments, and the court just literally blew them all up. Now, Nick did challenge the probable cause of whether or not there was enough information to sustain a charge, and that's where he won. But his Frank stuff and his suppression just crashed and burned. Now, and I think in the case that he cited was actually, there was a lot there. And if I was a judge, I might have actually suppressed because a lot of that was really hinky.
So that's a good question. So I didn't look into this, which is he said someone who won a Frank's motion in this county. Did he win a Frank's motion?
Not the case that I think he's trying to refer to. No. He lost suppression. He lost on Frank's. He won that the felony charge was not supported by probable cause. So that still counts as a win, though. A win is a win. I don't care how you get it. He got a dub. But this idea that it was a Frank's motion, though, nope.